In the deep forests of Canada, where nature reigns supreme, an incredible adventure was about to unfold, destined to touch the hearts of all who would come to know about it. In that remote area, Oliver, an experienced ranger, was patrolling as usual. With years of experience behind him, he knew those woods like the back of his hand. However, that day, something unexpected was about to disrupt his routine. Suddenly, an unusual sound caught his attention. A piercing echo resonated through the trees, interrupting the usual silence of the forest. Oliver stopped abruptly, all his senses heightened. Those screams were strange, sounding both inhuman and desperate. Despite a sixth sense warning him of danger, his instinct as a protector of nature pushed him to investigate. Step by step, he approached the source of the sound, the tension growing. Finally, in a clearing, he came upon a scene that surpassed his imagination. In front of him lay a large grizzly bear, with its right front paw trapped in a deadly trap. The bear's head was caught in a noose, while its hind legs were entangled in barbed wire. Every movement of the animal caused painful groans that filled the air. Oliver, following his instinct, grabbed his rifle. He knew well how dangerous an encounter with an injured bear could be. But this encounter was different. The bear showed no aggression, seeming instead to plead for help. Oliver's heart pounded, but he decided to set aside his fear. He dropped the weapon, the only means of defense he had, as a sign of peace. The bear, perhaps accustomed to encountering hostile hunters, was frightened and desperately tried to free itself, feeling threatened. The ranger had to approach slowly to examine the situation without agitating the animal. Seeing that Oliver's hands were empty, the bear seemed to understand the gesture and began to calm down. Despite the obvious danger, Oliver cautiously approached, kneeling beside the animal. First of all, he cut the noose that tightened around the bear's neck. Surprisingly, the bear remained calm, showing no signs of aggression. Next, Oliver turned to the barbed wire. Carefully examining it, he saw that the wire had dug into the bear's flesh, causing deep and painful wounds. With extreme delicacy, he removed the wire, each of the animal's groans breaking his heart. Finally, only the trap remained, holding one paw. Releasing that paw meant granting the bear freedom, but also risking being attacked. With an act of mutual trust, Oliver freed the paw. The bear, instead of fleeing, remained on the ground, too weak and injured to move immediately. Oliver, with a heart full of compassion, watched the animal attempt to stand and fall again. Every step was torment for the bear. Determined not to abandon it to its fate, Oliver took his phone and contacted a local wildlife clinic, requesting urgent intervention. The clinic immediately sent a team to the site. The bear was tranquilized and transported to the clinic, where veterinarians worked tirelessly to save its life. The wounds were cleaned, antibiotics administered, and the lacerations sutured with precision. To Oliver's great surprise, the doctors revealed that the bear was not an isolated case. In recent weeks, several reports of wild animals with similar injuries had come in. The discovery of systematic poaching activity enraged Oliver. In the following days, the bear remained sedated and under close observation. However, the clinic did not have the resources to keep it for long. The only option was to release it back into the wild, but Oliver knew that would not be a safe solution. The poachers were still out there. Determined to stop this threat, Oliver set to work, installing surveillance cameras in the forest's most notorious hunting spots. Every day was a race against time. The poachers' tracks were elusive, but Oliver did not give up. Finally, one night, a camera alarm woke him with a start. With adrenaline pumping, Oliver ventured into the forest, following the tracks with a flashlight. Every sound in the dark night made his heart beat faster. The tracks led him to a rarely patrolled area of the forest. Suddenly, the sounds stopped, and an eerie silence fell over the trees. Oliver held his breath as he entered a clearing, finding himself in front of a freshly set trap. Before he could act, a branch snapped behind him. He turned and saw a dark figure approaching. Without thinking twice, he leapt at the figure, overpowering it after a brief but intense struggle. It was the man setting the traps. Oliver immediately called the police, who arrested the culprit and gathered evidence. During the interrogation, the man confessed to his crimes, revealing the location of all the traps. In the following days, the bear recovered thanks to the veterinarian's care. When it was finally ready to be released, Oliver and the team transported it deep into the forest. But the bear, instead of fleeing immediately, stopped a few meters from the truck and turned, looking at Oliver and his companions as if to thank them. At that moment, Oliver and the other rangers were overwhelmed with emotion. Tears silently fell as they watched the bear disappear into the thick trees, finally free and safe. That adventure in the deep forests of Canada had ended, but the bond created between man and nature would remain in their hearts forever.